right? So it's an empty table. You can see show partitions, partition demo, right? So we have not loaded the partition columns. Right, now load the data.
I think this VM, Cloudera VM, you have everything installed, huh? MySQL and everything.
Yes. What happens into the table?
That you mentioned some issue like partition, the date not ended with quote. Partition.
Yes. Right. So one partition created and the data from this day one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's an empty. Just a second. Let's start from party demo. It's on another, right. So we have to write day one data. This one, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I have given the wrong file name. So partition demo day one. Copy. I'm running this command. Edit. Paste. Okay. The table is created. Now you can see. Select start from party demo. Okay. Right.
Okay.
Ajay iPhone 6. So because there is some value here, took two tabs. Right now, it's a date. The file system and user Hive warehouse and partition demo is the table name, right? Partition demo.
Mm.
See when it is created now itself 12/6/2015. Click here, right? So on the date 10th, right? That this is the data of this particular file,
Okay.
right? Ajay Vijay. Now what I want to do is I want to load the day 2 data. This one, right? So here instead of
Mm.
day 1, now I'll write day 2. Okay. So this day 2 means it's some other date, correct? So it's 11th date. And I'm
So
copying the
every time we need to specify the data,
right now
which
when you
base.
yes we have to specify that each day's data. Because here I have used the partition column is date.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then edit, paste it. Okay, so now select the star from party demo, right? It's right, we have all the 4 records. Now you can see show partitions, party demo. Okay, 2 partitions are created. I will go to the warehouse, come back, partition demo, right? So 2 directories are created. So this is the data which belongs to this particular date, and this is the data which belongs to this date, right? So generally what we use, this comes in like in the scenario. Okay, So every day, this is what your database, right? From this database, and what you're doing, you're collecting the data. You're using a flume here. So with this flume, the data is loaded into SDFS, right? So every day the data is loading in unscheduled interview, right? Suppose every day on, right? Every day you are importing the data on even night 10:30, right? So now when you're using the data every day 10:30 means what will be your partition column? Date, right?
Date.
Suppose what I want to do is, suppose if I'm importing the data, uh, so I'm importing the data from each city.
One second, Ajay, I'm getting call. 1 second. Sorry, Ajay. Yeah.
Okay, see what you're doing. So from this is considered RDBMS. So every day you're importing the data at 10:30, right? So that is the
Mm.
data is imported from your RDBMS to SDFS. But here the thing is, when you're importing the data, so if we import all the data at once, right? So what happens is, it is sometimes difficult to you to organize the data. So what I'm going to do here is, when I'm importing the data, so I'm importing the data, right? So you write input query. So here I am writing where city equal to Bangalore. Now what this import statement will do, scoop import statement, it will import the data, right, from the
Only.
RDBMS where the city is belongs to Bangalore. Now this data is loaded into the SDFS as a one file, correct? Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right now this particular file contains the information about the Bangalore. Okay. Now and again you're running another query. Now city, right? So here now when
Okay.
you're trying to load the data into the Hive table, so now what, how we load the data? Now here we have the partition column is city, correct? Now I load
Mm.
the data based upon the partition, now based on the city Hyderabad, based on the city Bangalore, based on the city Chennai. In this way I load the data, the same how I'm getting importing into the SDFS, the same way I'm importing to the Hive. Now, suppose if you are looking
Okay.
for the data which is belongs to the Chennai, then it is going to search in this particular area. So we are not going to
Mm.
search in this one and in this, right? Suppose
Mhm.
if you imported where instead of the city, instead of the city you wrote like this, where date equal to, right? So this particular date, now these records are going to import it. Now how the records are there, how the records are there based upon the date. Now so this file belongs to this file, so this is the data which belongs to this particular date, right? Like this. Now the same way we load the data based upon the partition column date. Okay,
So
sometimes
when we
I want to go for both the date and city, each day from each city, then I'll use two partition columns. Yes, Jay Prakash.
Yeah, like when you are partitioning with city, then each city having a separate physical file will be, when we load the data, it will have the different kind of different files in the user Hive warehouse folder.
Yes,
For
yes,
Bangalore one file, Chennai one file.
yes, right.
Mm.
So that so it will be very much easy for to process the data. Suppose no, if you are imported complete the data, right? Suppose now instead of you don't want to write this cube import, right? I have imported the data with, right? I have imported all the data with this cube import, correct? Now you'll have a file which contains username, product name, city and date. Okay, now from this one, what you have to do, you have to create the partitions, right? What you have to do now, create a table with excluding the date, right? Load the data only username, product name, city, and then give this date as a partition column.
Okay.
Okay, so that the new table contains only the username, product name, city name, and the date is going to be the partition column, right? The new table contains only the three fields: username, product name, city, right? We can load the data. We'll take a new table. Suppose this is the table test1, then create a new table, create table test2, right? From select username, product name, comma, city from the test1. Now only these three records are loaded into new test2 table, right? Now in the test2 table, create a partition with this date column, right? Now these are separated with the date. Got it?
Okay.
Okay,
So each time, each files will be in the separate partition.
right.
Whenever we
Yes,
load
whenever
the
you have
file.
created, yes, whenever you have created, so you have the different partitions, right? See, suppose if I write another query, day 3, right? So it's ABC and Nokia and it's BCD, right? Sony, right? Save this, day 3, save, right? Now in the partition column, specify the date 12 and write day 3 and load this into the table. Okay, so you can see show partitions. You have to write the table name party demo, right? So these are the partitions created and 10th, 11th, 12th. If you write select star from party demo, right, it will list all the records, right? You can write select count of star party demo, it will check in each partition.
But every time you are running with overwrite option, right? But that's not overwriting, correct? Which data will be overwritten? Which field? Ajay?
Yes. Hello,
Yeah.
right? So
Yes, Ajay.
yeah, 2 seconds, 2 seconds to count number of records 0, right? So this is where we will create the partition. Now three partition columns are created.
Yeah, I have a question here.
Mm.
See, we are running with load a local in path and the path with overwrite option, right? Table overwrite.
Yeah, because the previous is over, whatever the data is there is overwritten, in new data is going to be inserted. But where you are writing the data, you are writing the data into a new partition columns data,
Uh-huh. Which means
which
go
means,
to that load
right,
load. Show me
once
the
again,
load.
once again,
Okay. So here we are overwrite, right? Load data local path or with
right?
partition. Okay. So whatever data available in this date will be deleted, correct?
Only on day 3, right? The previous data is deleted, new data is written. Suppose here I am not writing overwrite. I'll check. I'll change this. right? Now I'll see, right? I want to write this day 3 data in, with some other date 14, right? Now it's not overwrited. Now these records are duplicated and again added. This 8 paste, right? I want to load the data day 3 data with this new partition, right? Now see here, select star from party demo, right? We got ABC BCD, again ABC BCD, right? So if you are not
Mm.
overwritten, so they are written again with another partition date. You can see show partitions, partition demo.
Is it, but it's with one.
It's with one.
Okay, you give. Okay, okay, you give one.
Okay, so like this we are going to create the this overwrite is to, it will overwrite the previous records, right? We'll add the new records. If you don't write overwrite, the new records are going to append it to the existing table. That's it, simple. This I wrote
Mm-hmm.
in the notes of session 1 exercise 1 first PDF.
Mm. No, no, here little different. Like it's deleting only the partition data, not the entire data. Earlier case, it will override the entire data.
Right,
Here
because
only the part.
yes,
Yeah.
when we are loading the data, we are loading the data based upon the partition, because I wrote
Yeah.
here the partition column, right?
Okay.
So specified just overwrite into the table with this particular partition,
Okay.
right? So in this way the data is going to be stored in partitions. Okay, right. So we have an exercise that's giants. We'll do tomorrow because time I can't, takes lot more time, Jayaprakash. I'll show you the
Mm-hmm.
partitions along with the giants,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I need to write multiple giants, so it takes time. It takes more 40 minutes to take that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll see that in tomorrow session, right?
So today you scheduled to our 2 hours, right?
Yes, I have sent. I have scheduled 7 to 8:30, Jayaprakash, because I need to go to the office to a little bit early these days. So I have changed
Mm-hmm.
the time because previously it's available. So I used to spend 9:30 to, right. There are the times I was
Mm-hmm.
there in the session 9:30 to 9:45, but right now I need to go early, so I can't spend that much of time. So that I have
Okay.
scheduled earlier, half an hour earlier, 7 to 8:30,
Mm-hmm.
right. Exactly at 7 o'clock, I have started the session today.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What about tomorrow? 7 to 8:30, is it
Yeah.
okay?
Okay.
Right. So in
Yeah.
tomorrow we'll see an example of, so giants, right, and giants with partitions and buckets, right, security, right. That security means compression, right. So the four topics we'll see in tomorrow session, which we are going to end Hive tomorrow.
Encryption, security. Yeah.
Yes, encryption are like sequence file. Here security means what? We are using compression with security, Okay, we'll see these things in tomorrow's session. Any other questions, Deprakash?
Yeah. You have example for this for today's session?
Which one?
Today's session.
Yes, I didn't get you. Today's session example, this is the example. Because I have created the data in front of you and I wrote the tables, I have created it. Right,
Yeah,
I'll give
just
the
I
notes
want
for
to.
other example. That's
Okay.
the example tomorrow. So I'll give you another example for this partition. But it's a different because I takes time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. See, yesterday I practiced that. Yesterday I executed that. I have created the notes for that. We'll see in tomorrow session.
Mm-hmm. So what's the difference in other like Cloudera VM which you are showing this and earlier one which you sent for Ubuntu? What's major difference?
Just type here. I am typing Hadoop version.
Hmm.
Right, I am 2.0.0 C2H 4.4.0. Now tell me what is the version you are having. Check in
I
that menu.
didn't log. I didn't log in.
Right, the same thing. I think you have CDH 4.0.0.
Mm-hmm.
It's configured with GI. That's Hue. That's not configured with Hue.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so it takes minimum 4 GB RAM. That takes 2
Mm-hmm.
GB or 3 GB is okay for that. Even that,
Mm-hmm.
for that one too, you need to have the 4 GB RAM because when you're running the jobs, it requires the RAM.
Okay. We have session in HBase also, right?
No, either it can be MongoDB or it can be HBase.
Mm-hmm. But both will not cover come.
See, it's a NoSQL, right? So you can choose which NoSQL you are using. You have to use that one, right? So in
Okay, better type than HBase.
see, right here I wrote MongoDB.
HBase also there, right?
Yes, HBase also there, right? So this is the training content.
Mm.
Right, HBase it's only the small thing, right? So HBase shell commands and how we perform CUD operations, and it's about MongoDB. Because these are the separate things you need to know. You need to practice MongoDB and HBase as a separate programming, right? So there will be a
Mm.
separate developer will be there for HBase. There will be separate certification for the HBase. There will be
Mm.
separate MongoDB developer is there. So it's a different programming, right? So it
Mm.
cannot, like, suppose if you are working with the Java programmer, so we are working with JDBC. That's mandate that
Mm.
we should not be a PLSQL programmer, right?
Mm. Mm.
Right, the same thing here. So we are using no MongoDB in Hadoop, but we are not the
Mm.
MongoDB developers. So there will be MongoDB developers who will be dedicated to MongoDB, right? Suppose the
Mm.
same thing, right? So that if the people who is working in Java, they use Aracle, right? But so they won't, they write the jobs in only the Java. They are not write the code for the PLSQL, right? So there will be a separate
Mm.
team for the PLSQL which they are going to be work with that one. Here the same thing. There will be separate MongoDB developers are there, right? So what we use, how we establish a communication, how we get the data from the MongoDB to Hadoop, and how we process the data, what we have to do. That's it.
Mhm. So normal scenario, which one you use in Hadoop, MongoDB or HBase in the
HBase.
live environment? HBase only.
Yeah, it's up to their clients. So few people will have HBase, few people will have MongoDB.
Mhm. Okay. They will not prefer for Hive.
Hive is not a database,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So how Hive is related? See,
So, but Hive will hold big data, right? All big data.
see, Hive and Peak both are same.
No, no. Hive will hold big data, right?
Hive will process the big data. How Hive won't store this big data? Hive uses
Okay, okay.
HBase to store its data. Otherwise, Hive
So
uses
what?
SDFS to store its data. So if
Mhm,
you want to your data to be structured, go for the HBase. Otherwise, you can store the data in SDFS and you can able to process. Hive to SDFS or Hive to NoSQL. Okay, if you are
okay.
using Hive to HDFS, you cannot able to store the structured data, right? It will be stored into the HDFS. The security is less, right? If you are looking for the
Mhm,
security for your data, then you must will load the data into HBase, right? Because we cannot able to see. If you store the data into the Hive, see, everyone can able to see the data. Where you how you are providing the security, right? No way. So what we'll do is now send this store this data into the HBase and process it through Hive, but it's a Java program. So you need, so in HBase to create a table you need to write a Java program. To alter the table you have to write Java. So heavy Java is required for the HBase developers. So there are the less GU shell commands and more can be done with the GUI for Java.
mhm.
You must be a
All
good
right.
Java programmer if you want to work with the
Mhm,
HBase.
mhm, mhm. So, but all the data which the same number, same amount of data can be stored in this Hive process also, like Derby database.
No, we Derby is not an RDBMS, right? So we cannot use in a real time the Derby. You have to configure MySQL or Oracle or any database to store its metadata. The Derby will not able to configure the server, right? Derby is
Mhm.
not RDBMS, so you have to configure MySQL.
We can transfer data from like Derby to HBase or
No,
MongoDB also. No.
don't see, Derby is to store only the metadata. We are not going to do any with the Derby. We are not going to work with the environment. The Derby is internal Hive using it's to store what is the table name, how many, because whenever you create the table, right? So in the
Mhm.
Hive warehouse table data is going to be created. Right, now you have a question, sir. Ajay, tell me where Hive storing its stable data, where the schema it is storing, whatever the fields are there, what is the type. So there
Mhm.
will be some data it has to store, right? So that
Yeah.
data, the table name, the table fields, and the table
Mhm.
created, the database name, it will be going to stored into the database, and the data
Yeah.
is stored in SDFS. When
Mhm.
you run a curry, select start from EMP, first it goes to the metadata, you to get the EMP, check the EMP data into the warehouse, then load the data.
Mhm. So real time, not much using Hive.
No, everyone will use Hive. HBase is a DBMS database kind of things. We won't directly
Mm.
write the HBase, right? So we use different types of analytics in Hive and is going to connect to the HBase. We use HBase to store data.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you want to process through HBase, you can. How you, if you want to process through Oracle, you can. If you want to process through Java, you can, right? Suppose you are using Java and Oracle together, correct?
Mhm.
See how you are using Java and Oracle or Java and MySQL or .NET with SQL Server, correct?
Mm, yeah.
Right, so .NET people, they their application design can be done in the ASP.NET C#.NET, and the backend data will be stored into the database SQL server, right? Here you are choosing the database Oracle to store your data. Here I am using MongoDB or HBase or any NoSQL to store the data. and to process the data you have to write either Java, or you can able to write the queries in SQL Server. But we cannot possible we write the SQL Server, we use those things in Java to retrieve the data in a more efficient way, right? The same thing here, we write the queries in Hive to retrieve the data which you stored into the database. Okay.
So pig and one more pig also like same thing, right?
Pig
Pig
and Hive
also
both are same. Pig and Hive both are same,
same.
right? Actually, there is pig is actually there is nothing to teach in pig, right? Whatever you are going to do in Hive, the same thing you can able to do in pig. The pig programs are it's like writing a paragraph in English, right? So
So pig also real time not using.
why pig uses? Why won't use? If we are not using, then why we learn?
No, no, you said there is no security in Hive data and also
No, the
the those.
security is you have to use compression, right? Suppose, but we can able to see the data physically, right? So that's you can
Mm,
avoid. See, this is when you are going to create a table in Hive,
mm,
table, right? So how you are writing? Test 1 2 3 4 5, test it as an integer, right? Writing, and you are writing this I told in first
mm,
section, right? Stored as sequence file. Now when you load the data
mm,
into the table, the data which you are going to load is going to be encrypted, right? So you are
mm.
providing the security. Nobody can able to see the data, correct? So in this way, we'll provide the security in Hive. Otherwise, we'll encrypt the data. That's it, and we'll provide the security. Okay. Hello, Jayaprakash.
Yes, Ajay.
See, right. See, here I am getting stored as a sequence file. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Now the data which you are storing into this table will be stored as an encrypted data. So the users cannot able to see whatever the data is there. They cannot able to see, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this way
Yeah.
we'll make the data. We use different types of compressions to store the data. Right? The compression files are encrypted files and nobody can able to trace the data in those files.
Can we alter the table? Alter table kind of thing here.
Yes, yes,
Hive.
we can. Right, I told this one. No, we can able to do all the DDL and DML except TCL kind of statements.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so the same thing. Alter table, add whatever the field you want, right? You can write.
Any limitation in Derby amount of volume of data?
Derby, why we need the limitation for the Derby? You are not going to
Mm,
store the data into the Derby.
mm.
You are going to store only the metadata. The table data is
Okay,
not going
okay.
to store in the Derby.
Okay, okay, okay. All are storing in HDFS.
Yes, either use
Okay.
SDFS or HBase, or you can export the data to the MySQL. It's up to you because we you
Mm,
cannot you no need to maintain the data always in SDFS. You can export to
mm,
RDBMS, right? With the command scoop export, export the data from your is Hive data to the RDBMS data and store it.
okay. Hello.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 also exist. Right, create table. Now
Mm.
you can write alter table, right? Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, table name. Now add columns, right? Okay, DAC test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's it. If you want to change the table name, alter table test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, rename to test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now DAC test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, this is how we use alter. Top table test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
This adding cluster only possible in fully distributed mode.
Yes.
You have that installation. You have the
Which one?
setup. You have the fully distributed setup.
No. Fully, it's a real-time cluster, right? The fully distributed means what you need to have multiple systems has to be connected together. So it's an Hadoop admin, right? We nowhere related where your data is available. The people we cannot able to see the data in the data node, right?
Mm.
If
Mm.
it is a multi-node cluster, if it's a single node cluster, if you want to work the data node 3, can able to work with the data node 3, see if by connecting 50075. You are not giving an
Mhm.
access. Always you will be given access to the name node. If it is a 100 node
Okay.
cluster, it's a 1000 node cluster. How it is related to your developer?
Mm.
Correct?
Like next level is admin level, right? The developer is ultimately what is the next level on that?
No. What's net not level it comes, right? So either there will be a developer and there will be one admin, right? So right, developer we has to develop the application. Network sysadmin has to configure the cluster.
Yeah, same thing. Like developers can go to admin work also, right? For
Not mandatory because
not mandatory. If
developer
they
won't
instead,
no admin will come to admin won't come to developer, but a developer can be an admin, remember, because
yeah,
admins they will aware, they won't, it's a difficult them to code, right? So because they have chosen the admin, right?
mm,
So a developers can code as well as developer can admin, but it's up to you because the developers never try to shift to admin, right? Because you're working in Java doesn't mean that you're going to shift to Oracle DBA, correct? So that's a
mm,
different again. So how much that Oracle you're working is different, the how much admin you're working is different. So we have the multiple backups you need to create, you need to create cold backup, you need to create hard backup, you need to create, right? So you need to recover the data.
mm,
So there are so many things admin can able to do. I can able to do the DB admin,
mm,
can take the backup all the data. I can able to do the DBA as well as I can able to work with Oracle apps too,
mm.
both the DBA as well application DBA, apps DBA. Okay, yeah, it's 8:38 ending session. See you tomorrow 7 o'clock. Fine.
Okay, okay, man.
Yeah, right.